break-even points and the fixed cost. This we will be analyzing. We will go through the combined leverage, and at the end we will have some practice MCQs. This is what the entire session's output. Now, financial leverage. It's a strategy to use the borrowed funds, not the own funds of the equity investors. The strategy to use the borrowed funds to enhance return on investment of the equity investors. Means, next sense, if you read this one, it will be fully clear. It means enhancing the EPS, that's earnings per share, without shareholders bringing money themselves. Means it's not required that shareholders bringing the money to enhance the EPS. Enhancing the EPS without shareholders bringing money themselves, but by borrowing. This is the financial leverage. How these are calculated means the various ratios are involved in the financial leverage. We use normally so many ratios, so one by one. Debt to asset ratio, it's calculated as total debt divided by total assets. Then debt to equity, it's calculated as the total debt divided by total equity. Then debt to EBITDA, that is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization, that is calculated as total debt divided by EBITDA. Then the 2-point analysis, it's calculated uses the equity multiplier, that is equal to total assets divided by total equity. Then the interest coverage ratio, it's EBIT divided by interest expense, that is earnings before interest and taxes divided by interest expense. These were the so many calculations which we use normally in the financial area. Now the degree of financial leverage and its behavior, how it's means it's defined as ratio of financial change in EPS and percentage change in EBITDA. Means it's defined as ratio of percentage change in EPS and EBIT. This is what if the how much percentage ratio changes in EPS and how much it changes in EBIT. That ratio is the degree of financial leverage. That's what in the formula, if we go, DFL is equal to percentage change in EPS divided by percentage change in EBIT. Or it can also be calculated as DFL is equal to EBIT divided by EBT, means earnings before interest and tax divided by earnings before tax. Now we will go through one example of calculating how the degree of financial leverage is calculated. Like this is the information given, particulars, EBIT 1 lakh 1.5 in the scenario 2, 20, 20, 80, 130, 40, 65, 40, 65, 10, 10, 4, 6.5. This is the total means data given to us. Now we have to calculate the degree of financial leverage. Now how it can be calculated? First, degree of financial leverage is equal to percentage change in EPS divided by percentage change in EBIT. Now let us calculate the percentage change in EPS first. EPS, the second scenario is 6.5, first one 4. So 6.5 minus 4 divided by 4 into 100, that is 2.5 divided by 4 into 100 is equal to 62.5%. This is the change in EPS. Now we are calculating the percentage change in EBIT. EBIT was 150 in the scenario 2 and 1 in first one. So 1.5 minus 1 divided by 1 into 100. That is 50,000 divided by 1 lakh into 100, that is equal to 50%. Now the degree of financial leverage is equal to percentage change in EPS divided by percentage change in EBIT, that is 62.5 divided by 50, that is equal to 1.25. This is how the financial leverage is calculated. Now let us go through one more example of calculating with another formula. Like a firm's details are as under, like sales is equal to 24 lakhs, variable cost 50%, fixed cost 10 lakhs. It has borrowed rupees 10 lakhs at 10% annual. Equity share is rupees 10 lakhs at 100 rupees each. Consider tax at 50%. Now we are supposed to calculate the degree of financial leverage. How it's calculated? Now contribution. First contribution is equal to sales minus variable cost. The sales we have already 24 lakhs and the variable cost is given as 50%. That is 50% of 24 lakhs is equal to 12. So the contribution is equal to 24 lakhs minus 12 lakhs is equal to 12 lakhs. This is one part. Now we have EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed cost. That formula is there. So EBIT is equal to 12 lakhs minus 10 lakhs is equal to 2 lakhs. Now EBT is equal to EBIT minus interest. It means earnings before interest and taxes. So earnings before tax is equal to earnings before interest minus taxes minus interest is equal to 2 lakhs minus 1 lakh is equal to 1 lakh. Because interest we have at it has borrowed money of 10 lakhs at 10% per annum. So automatically interest is equal to 1 lakh. So the EBT is equal to 1 lakh. Now the degree of financial leverage, we had seen the second formula is equal to EBIT divided by EBT. That is 2 lakhs divided by 1 lakh is equal to 2 times. This way also we can calculate the degree of financial leverages. We have shown both the ways. One is EPS minus EBIT and another one is EBIT minus divided by EBT. Now, when DFL is more than 1, means it's in positive, the financial leverages becomes very relevant. More the DFL, higher the financial leverage. This is of course soon. A positive leverage means the firm is operating at a higher level, higher than the break-even point. Means if your DFL is more than 1, means if it is positive, it's operating at a level higher than the break-even point. And EBIT and EPS will also move in the same direction. It will also be higher. Negative DFL indicates that the firm is operating at lower than the break-even point and the EPS is negative. Now, when the business is operating at break-even level, means EBT is nil, EBIT is equal to fixed interest. Then what will happen? The degree of financial leverage is equal to EBT divided by nil, because EBT is nil, so EBIT divided by nil is equal to undefined. This question also came in the last June ABFM, I think, yeah. So when the business is operating below the break-even level, EBT is negative, but EBIT is assumed to be positive. Now, degree of financial leverage is equal to EBT divided by EBT, EBIT divided by EBT is equal to, will be a negative number as EBT is negative. When EBT is negative, we will have the degree of financial leverage also in negative. Now, operating leverage. In financial leverage, we establish a correlation between the fixed financial cost, that is interest, and the profit of the business. But in operating leverage, we consider the fixed expenses except interest and correlate this to the profit. This is the minor difference. A more scientific way to access the sustainability of a business to its level of operation is by calculating the degree of operating leverage. Now, how we can calculate the degree of operating leverage? So let us go through the formula now. Degree of operating leverage is equal to percentage change in EBIT divided by percentage change in sales, or DOL is equal to contribution divided by EBIT. Both the formulas we can use. Contribution is equal to, we know, sales minus variable cost, and EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed operating cost. In this, first we have to calculate contribution and EBIT, then we can easily calculate the degree of operating leverages. Now we will just go through one example for a degree of operating leverage also. A company sells 1000 units of product X at rupees 50, having a variable cost of rupees 30 per unit and a fixed cost of rupees 15,000. Now we are supposed to calculate the operating leverage. Let us go through the solution. Now sales, how much is sales? 1,000 units at the rate of 50, so 50,000. The variable cost 30 at the variable cost 1000 units at the rate of 30 is equal to 30,000. So contribution we know sales minus variable cost, that is 50,000 minus 30,000, which is equal to 20,000. Now the fixed cost already they had given 15,000. Now the profit EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed cost is equal to 20,000 minus 15,000 is equal to 5,000. So we have the EBIT, we have the contribution. Now the degree of operating leverage says its contribution divided by EBIT. So 20,000 divided by 5,000 is equal to 4 times. This is how the degree of operating leverage is calculated. Now, as the financial leverage, here also, when DOL is more than 1, the operating leverage is very much relevant. That is relevant when it is positive. When a positive DOL means that the firm is operating at a higher level than the break-even level, same as the case of degree of financial leverage, and both sales and EBIT moves in the same direction here. When the positive DOL means the firm is operating at a higher level than the break-even level, and so the both sales and EBIT moves in the same direction, means higher level. But in case of negative DOL, a firm operates at lower than the break-even sales and the EBIT is negative. Now let us just go through the relationship between leverage, break-even point and fixed cost. One by one. There's a relationship between leverage and break-even point. Both are used for profit planning. Let us just go through the relationship. Now, whenever the relationship, the leverage, when the firm is with high leverage, the break-even point will be higher. This we had seen just now. When it's a positive, the break-even point will also move in the same direction. When the firm is having low leverage, the break-even point will be lower. This is the relationship between the leverage and the break-even point. Now, let us have the relationship between the fixed cost and the operating leverage. Like if it is a high fixed cost, the degree of operating leverage will be high. When we are having the lower fixed cost, then the degree of operating leverage will be lower. This is how the relationship between the leverages, break-even point and the fixed cost work. Now let us just view the combined leverage. This is a combination of financial and operating leverage. This is the means combined leverage. It's also called as total leverage. This is the combination of financial and operating leverages. Means the degree of total leverage is a measure of sensitivity of cash flows to owners to changes in unit sales that is derived by combining the firm's degree of operating leverage and the degree of financial leverage. इससे मतलब ये है कि ये सेंसिटिविटी ऑफ कैश फ्लोज टू ओनर्स टू चेंजेस इन यूनिट सेल्स को जो चेंजेस हो रहा है उसका टुवर्ड्स इनका कैश फ्लोज ओनर्स का कैश फ्लोज का सेंसिटिविटी कैसे होगा, दैट्स इट्स अ मेजर ऑफ दैट एंड दैट इज डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम कंबाइनिंग द फर्म्स डिग्री ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज एंड द फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज. Now the formula, how we are calculating the degree of total leverage. Degree of total leverage is equal to percentage change in EBIT divided by percentage change in sales. Let us calculate in the other way also. This is how all those things, how we can calculate the degree of total leverage. It's a product of both financial and operating leverage actually. That is DTL, that is degree of total leverage is equal to DFL into DL, degree of financial leverage into degree of operating leverage. Or we can calculate this way also. We know degree of financial leverage is equal to EBIT divided by EBT, and the degree of operating leverage is equal to contribution divided by EBIT. So if we multiply both EBIT divided by EBT into contribution divided by EBT, so EBIT cancel, that's contribution divided by EBT. This way also a degree of total leverage can be calculated. Now let's see the degree of combined leverage also in a kind of example. Very simple example. If degree of operating leverage is 0.94 and the degree of financial leverage is 1.09, how the degree of combined leverage can be calculated? Now this is how it will be calculated. It's very simple. It's a combined leverage. It's the product of degree of financial leverage and degree of degree of operating leverage. So DCL is equal to degree of DOL into DFL, that is 0.94 into 1.09 is equal to 1.02. This is the easiest question in case if it is asked with clear cut giving with the degree of operating leverage and financial leverage. You have to just multiply both of them and the answer will be your degree of combined leverage or total leverage. Both the ways it's called. You can take it as DCL or DTL. Let us go through one more example. Now, a firm has sales of rupees 10 lakh, variable cost of rupees 7 lakh, and fixed cost of rupees 2 lakh, and the debt of rupees 5 lakh at 10% rate of interest. So let us try to calculate the degree of combined leverage, total leverage. Now what they have shown us, sales 10 lakhs, variable cost it's given as 7 lakhs, so the contribution is equal to 3 lakhs. Sales minus variable cost. Then EBT is equal to 1 lakh, that is contribution minus fixed cost. They have given fixed cost, we have just calculated the contribution as 3 lakhs. So 3 minus 2, EBIT is equal to 1 lakh. Less interest. Interest they have given us 10%. That is 10% of 5 lakhs is equal to 50,000. So earnings before tax is equal to earnings before interest and tax minus interest. So EBIT minus interest, 1 lakh minus 50,000 is equal to 50,000. This is the basic calculation of the entire sum we have to do first. Then after that, now financial leverage, we have to calculate the financial leverage is equal to EBIT divided by EBT. We have EBIT as 1 lakh, EBIT as 50,000. So the financial leverage is 1 lakh divided by 50,000 is equal to 3. Now combined leverage, the degree of combined leverage or degree of the total leverage is equal to contribution divided by EBT. That is equal to contribution already we have 3 lakhs. EBT we have already 50,000 is equal to 6. We can calculate the combined leverage in other way also. The degree of combined leverage is equal to degree of operating leverage into degree of financial leverage. This we had already seen that formula. So degree of financial leverage is equal to 2, degree of operating leverage is equal to 3. So 2 into 3, 6. Both the way we will be getting the same answer. Now here the degree of financial leverage reveals the sensitivity of owner's cash flow to variation in operating cash flows. मतलब डिग्री ऑफ फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज हमको ये दिखाता है कि द ओनर्स कैश फ्लोज का सेंसिटिविटी वेरियस ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लोज का वेरिएशन की तरफ किस तरह मींस हाउ इट्स मूव्स. दिस इज व्हाट इट शोज. द डिग्री ऑफ फाइनेंशियल लेवरेज रिवील्स द सेंसिटिविटी ऑफ ओनर्स कैश फ्लोज टू वेरिएशंस इन operating cash flow, whereas degree of operating leverage indicates how sensitive operating cash flows to the fluctuations in sales. Fluctuations in sales जैसे रहता है उसके तरफ जैसे operating cash flows का sensitive रहता है, that is operating leverage, whereas the operating cash flows की तरफ how the owner's cash flows moves, that sensitivity is mainly financial leverage के through आता है. Now, in case of financial leverage, bigger the share of financing with fixed cost sources such as debt, the greater the sensitivity of owner's cash flows to the change in the operating cash flows. This we have just seen the owner's cash flows. So, जैसे हम लोग को bigger the share in financing with the fixed cost means जैसे debt ज़्यादा होगा, so share ज़्यादा होगा debt का, then we have the greater sensitivity. Otherwise reverse में होगा. The same way, in case of operating leverages, greater the fraction of fixed operating cost, the more sensitive operating cash flows are to the variations in sales. दिस आर टेक्निकल टर्म्स, जस्ट आपको ये पता करना चाहिए जैसे कि ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लोज में वेरिएशन होगा तो ओनर्स का कैश फ्लोज का किस तरह का सेंसिटिविटी होगा, किस तरफ वो मूव होगा। सेम वे सेल्स में वेरिएशन होगा तो कैश फ्लोज इन सेल्स में तो कैसे ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लोज का डिफरेंसेस सेंसिटिवनेस आएगा। दिस इज हाउ यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस कॉन्सेप्ट। So combining the effects of both type of leverage, that is financial and operating leverage, it is clear that cost operate as a pivot to enhance the sensitivity of available cash flows to changes in the number of units sold. मतलब fixed operating and financial cost both are operating as the important tool to enhance the sensitivity of available cash flows to changes in the number of units sold. This is how we just came to the end of the session. Around we have half an hour. What is means financial leverage, what is operating leverage, how they are calculated, what are the various formulas used in both financial leverage and operating leverage. These are all things we had seen. Just we'll be having some means MCQs which we can go through. The degree of operating leverage is calculated as, there are various formulas we just go through. A, contribution divided by EBIT, B, EBIT divided by BPT, C, EBIT divided by interest, D, EBIT divided by tax. Just try to post your answers. The degree of operating leverage is calculated as contribution divided by EBIT. Now let us calculate, let us do some calculations. A firm has sales of 10 lakhs, variable cost 7 lakhs, fixed cost 2 lakhs, and debt of 5 lakhs at 10% rate of interest. Now we have to calculate the operating leverage. Just try to do some calculations and bring up the answer. We will just check it up. Let me give approximate 30 seconds or something so that you can do some calculations and come up with the answer. And then when we go through the answers and solutions, you can check whether you have done correct or not. Do the basic first. We have to calculate the operating leverage. So go through those. We have sales, we have variable cost. You can calculate the contribution. We have fixed cost. You can calculate the EBIT. We have debt, means we have the interest portion. So you can calculate the EBT. So with this available data, we have to calculate the operating leverage. Fine. If you have done the calculation, we will just go through how it can be calculated. Now, the contribution is equal to, we have the sales, we have variable cost. Sales as 10 lakhs, variable cost is 7 lakhs. So we can calculate the contribution as sales minus variable cost, that is 10 lakhs minus 7 lakhs is equal to 3 lakhs. We got the contribution. Now EBIT, we have the contribution, now just now calculated the 3 lakhs. We have fixed cost given in the question itself, that is 2 lakhs. So EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed cost, that is 3 lakhs minus 2 lakhs is equal to 1 lakh. So we have contribution, we have EBIT. So degree of operating leverage is equal to what? Contribution divided by EBIT, that is equal to 3 lakhs divided by 1 lakhs is equal to 3 times. This is how the operating leverage is calculated. Now let us have another example. This question has the firm has a sales of rupees 10 lakhs, variable cost 7 lakhs, and fixed cost of 2 lakhs, and the debt of rupees 5 lakh at 10% interest. So now you have to calculate financial leverage. Same question, we have the same data. You have sales, you have variable cost, so you can calculate your what? Contribution, sales minus variable cost. Then we have fixed cost, so contribution minus fixed cost, we have the EBIT. Then we have the interest portion, that is debt at 5 lakhs, of 5 lakhs at 10% rate of interest, so you have the interest portion. The EBIT minus interest is equal to EBT. Along with this data, you have to calculate your degree of financial leverage. Just let me give another 20 to 30 seconds. This is only to go through and you try to answer these questions, which will be useful for you when you go for the exams or something else. Fine, let us now see. We have EBIT 1 lakh, that is we can calculate as EBIT. Already we have calculated that sales minus fixed variable cost, that is 3 lakhs. Then 3 lakhs minus 2 lakhs fixed cost is equal to EBIT, that is 1 lakh. We have calculated that in the earlier question. So EBT is equal to EBIT minus interest at 10% of 5 lakhs, that is 50. So 1 lakh minus 50,000 is equal to 50,000. The financial leverage is equal to EBIT divided by EBT, that is 1 lakh divided by 50,000 is equal to 2. This is how we can calculate the financial leverage if the questions is asked with this kind of data. Now, same data, like farmers, the sales of 1 lakh, 10 lakh, variable cost of 7, and the fixed cost is 2, and the debt of 5 lakh at 10% rate of interest. Now we have to calculate the combined leverage, yeah, total leverage, degree, DCL, yeah, DTL. Again, you can take another 20-30 seconds. You can just try to go through the answers, go through the questions, and try to solve the questions. Fine. Let us have the answer now. Degree of combined leverage is equal to degree of operating leverage. Combined leverage is equal to, there it's given totally wrong. It's operating leverage means combined leverage is equal to contribution divided by EBT. This total calculation is, this one is totally wrong. So contribution we have already 10 lakh minus 7 lakhs, that is equal to 3 lakhs. And EBT we had already calculated in the last question. That is EBIT is equal to 7 lakhs minus, 3 lakhs minus 2 lakhs, 1 lakh. Then the EBT is equal to 3 lakhs minus 50,000, that is equal to 50,000. The combined leverage is equal to 3 lakhs divided by 50,000 is equal to 6. This is how we can calculate the combined leverage. Now, which financial ratio measures the sensitivity of EPS to changes in EBIT? This we went through in the first slides. Sensitivity of EPS to changes in EBIT. That is EPS divided by EBIT. Which financial ratio measures this sensitivity? That is the degree of financial leverage. The degree of financial leverage is equal to EPS divided by EBIT. Now, how is financial leverage used in business? A. To acquire assets that add value to the business. To increase return on equity. C. To decrease the return on equity. D. To increase shareholder investment. How the financial leverage is used? Actually, the financial leverage is normally used to increase the return on equity. So, the right answer will be option B. What is the assumption behind using debt in financial leverage? A. The cost of the borrower funds is more than the added value. The cost of the borrower funds is equal to the added value. The cost of the borrower funds is less than the added value. The added value is not affected by the borrowed funds. What is the assumption? Normally, we assume that the cost of the borrowed funds is less than the added value because the added value should be more than the cost of the funds for borrowed. Now, what is the contribution per unit for a product that has a selling price of 100 and the variable cost of 40? This is a very straightforward question. Selling price we have 100 and the variable cost is 40. What should be the contribution per unit? Small calculation, you can take a pen, you can write the answer in 2 seconds. Contribution is equal to selling price minus variable cost. Very simple, sales minus variable cost. So contribution per unit is equal to selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. That is 100 minus 40 is equal to 60. So the right answer is option C. In what scenario can higher leverage be used in a small business? A. When the risk or the loss is high. B. When the risk or loss is small and can be controlled easily. C. When the business is new. D. When the business is established. In what scenario higher leverage can be used in a small business? Normally, it is used when the risk or the loss is small and it can be controlled easily. In that scenario only, you can use the higher leverage in small business. Now, one more sum. A company sells 500 units of a product at a price of 150 per unit. The variable cost is 90 and the fixed cost is 30,000. Now, what is the sales volume required for the company to break even? So now we have to find out the break even point. We have the sales, we have company sells 500 units at a price of 150. We have the variable cost, we have the fixed cost. Now we have to find out the break even point. I hope you are getting these slides and my audio clear. In case there is any different means disturbance in this one, I will let me try to upload the entire session in the PDF file. Once the session is over, you can download the PDF and you can go through. Don't worry. Now, if you are solved, let us go through the solution. Now, break-even point is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution. So now we have the contribution per unit is price per unit, variable cost per unit, that is 150 minus 90, that is equal to 60. So we have 60 is our contribution. Now the break-even is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution. The fixed cost we have as 30,000 and the contribution as 60. So the break-even points in units is equal to 500 unit, and the right answer, so that will be option D. Now, what does operating leverage measure? Operating leverage, if you remember the formula, you can answer this question. One, the degree to which the company's revenue affects its earnings before interest and tax, that is EBIT. Two, the degree to which the company's fixed cost and variable cost affects its EBIT. In this, which is the correct means we can say the definition for operating leverage. How the operating leverage is measured? A only one, B only two, C both one and two, D neither one nor two. The right answer is only two. Operating leverage measures the degree to which the company's fixed cost and variable cost affects its EBIT. The degree of financial leverage is calculated as, we have seen so many formulas, so you can just remember degree of financial leverage is calculated as EBIT divided by contribution, EBIT divided by EBT, EBIT divided by sales, EBIT divided by variable cost. It's very simple. It's the degree of financial leverage is calculated as EBIT divided by EBT. So the right answer is option B. Now a business is said to be operating at the break-even level. When the business is said to be operating at the break-even level. एक कंपनी ब्रेक इवन लेवल पे ऑपरेट कर रहा है, इसका मतलब कब? When A, the business is making a profit, B, the business is making a loss, C, the business is neither making a profit nor a loss, D, the business has a high degree of financial leverage. The right answer will be what? A business will be operating at the break-even point when the business is neither making a profit nor a loss. So the right answer is option C. Now let us go through this entire means small data given. Company A, B, C, D. They have the sales, then the sales price, sales in unit, sales price per unit, variable cost per unit, fixed operating cost. They have given this data. Now we have to calculate the degree of operating leverage of company A. Just calculate, take some pen and paper and try to calculate and post the answers. You can take another 10 to 15 seconds. You have to calculate the operating leverage. You have been given with sales in unit, sales per price per unit, variable cost, fixed operating costs. So you can first calculate the sales, then you can calculate the contribution, then you can calculate the EBIT and EBT, then you can go for the operating leverage. So fine, let's see. Sales revenue, first units into sale price, that is 5,000 into 20. That is equal to 1 lakh. That is your sales. We have contribution, that is sales revenue minus variable cost. So now if you calculate the variable cost, that is 5,000 into 6. Variable cost per unit is 6. So that is 30,000. So the contribution is equal to 1 lakh minus 30,000 is equal to 70,000. So you got the contribution now. EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed cost. You are calculated the EBIT is 70,000 and the fixed cost is 60,000 in company A. So the EBIT is equal to 10,000. Now the degree of operating leverage says its contribution divided by EBIT, that is 70,000 divided by 10,000, that is equal to 7 times. So the DOL for company A limited is equal to 7 times. Now let me again go through the next one for the company B. You just calculate the degree of operating leverage for the company B now. Take another 20-25 seconds and try to solve this question. Fine, we'll just have a look. Same way, sales revenue is equal to units into sales price, that is 5,000 into 32. Here the sale price is 32, so the sales is equal to 1,60,000. Then we have to calculate the variable cost. Variable cost is equal to 16 here. So 16 into 5,000, that is equal to 80,000. Now you can calculate the contribution as we have the sales and variable cost. The sales is 160 and variable cost is 80. The contribution is equal to 80,000. Now we got the contribution. Now we have to calculate the EBIT. EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed cost. So we have contribution is equal to 80,000. The fixed operating cost is equal to 40,000. So EBIT is equal to 80 minus 40 is equal to 40,000. Now the DOL of B limited is equal to contribution divided by EBIT is equal to 80,000 is your contribution divided by 40,000 is your EBIT is equal to 2 times. This is how it's calculated for the degree of operating leverage for the company B. Next, same way, just try to complete this one. I just brought this kind of questions with 2-3 companies only to practice only. Instead of going through various data and getting confused, just with this available data, you can try to experience yourself. What are the changes given in the data? How you are going to analyze those particular data to solve this particular question. Again, let us go through sales is equal to 5,000 into 50, that is 2,50,000. Variable cost is equal to 20 into 5,000, that is 1 lakh. So contribution is equal to 2,50,000 minus 1 lakh is equal to 1,50,000. We have the contribution. Now EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed operating cost, that is given as 1 lakh. So 1,50,000 minus 1 lakh is equal to 50,000. 50,000 is your EBIT. Now your DOL for C limited is equal to contribution divided by EBIT, that is 1,50,000 divided by 50,000 is equal to 3 times. So the right answer is option C. Now just complete this one very quick for company D. We can have the sales revenue as 70 into 5,000, that is 3,50,000. Variable cost 50 into 5, sorry, some mistakes my side. This variable cost is 60 here. So the contribution, sorry, variable cost is equal to 55,000 into 60, that is 3 lakhs. The contribution is equal to 3 lakhs 50,000 minus 3 lakhs is equal to 50,000. Now the EBIT is equal to contribution minus fixed operating cost, that is 50,000 minus 0, because fixed operating cost is given as nil. So the EBIT is equal to 50,000. The degree of operating leverage is equal to dual is contribution divided by EBIT, that is 50,000 divided by 50,000, that is equal to 1 time. There is a small error. The variable cost should be given as 60. Now 18, the degree of financial leverage cannot be calculated when the business is making a profit, the business is making a loss, the business is operating at the break-even level, the business has a low degree of financial leverage. We cannot calculate the degree of leverage when the business is operating at a break-even level, because we will be having a CBT 0, so it cannot be calculated. Now, how does a high operating leverage affect the company's profit? One, a small change in revenue can have a significant impact on the company's profit. A large change in revenue is needed to have any impact on the company's profit. A only 1, B only 2, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 nor 2. A high operating leverage affect a company's profit. How? A small change in revenue can have significant impact on the profit. A large change in revenue is needed to have any impact on the company's profit. The right answer is option A. A small change in revenue can have a significant impact on the company's profit. Now, we'll just go through this sum also. A company sells 500 units of a product at the price of 150. The variable cost is 90 and the fixed cost is 30,000. Now you have to calculate the sales volume required for the company to break even. You have to calculate the break even point. Just roughly let me go through. Your break even point is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution margin. Now the contribution is equal to price per unit minus variable cost per unit, that is sales price. That sales price we have given us 150 and the variable cost is 90, so the contribution is equal to 60. Now we have to calculate the break even point. The break even point is equal to 30,000, that is fixed cost, divided by your contribution, that is 60, is equal to 500 units. So the right answer is option D. Thank you, friends. We just went through this particular session. It's also shifted to new platform. So in case if you find any issues like audio not clear, videos not coming good, yeah, the slides are not visible, yeah, the text are blurred, any kind of issues, just post me in this comment section. Yeah, you can just text me, WhatsApp me, whatever way you can connect. Yeah, you can give the feedback also, so that these things can be rectified in the next session, because it's first 2 sessions we are also just I am experiencing some issues earlier, so it will be rectified in this session. And also I will be just uploading the PPT PDF file, which you can go through later on also. Thank you, friends.